Hello and welcome back from the Matrix. I'm Metroid Man.
My mic fell.
I'm JD.
I'm Matt, and my mic's still falling.
And we're playing Zelda 2 again. We were arguing about Star Wars last time, but we've agreed to not argue about that anymore. For your sake.
The sequels are worse than...
Sequels are definitely worse. Yes.
See, that's the problem, though, because you gave, like, episode 2 a 1. You have to give it at least a 4 in order to, like, even scale the other ones.
I'll give it a 3, and I'll give episode 1 a 5.
Then what would you rate the other 3? Like,
episode 3?
I like parts of Last Jedi.
Episode 3, I stick with a 7.
No. Episode 7, 8, and 9. What would you rate those?
7, 8, 9?
And then, like, you have to be consistent. You know
Respectively, I give them a 3, 2, and a 1.
3, 2, and a 1.
No,
like,
a 2, 3, and a 1.
Respectively, 2, 3, and a 1.
Yeah.
You know what?
Actually, I give it a 1, 3, and a 1. Because...
You don't like... I feel like Force
7,
Awakens works.
7 is a good movie, but the problem is...
It's just 4.
It's just episode 4. So, I can't even give it credit for being as good as episode 4 because it just had to copy episode 4. I can't give it credit for that. Right?
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Like, if it's a good movie, it's only good insofar as 4 was good. Because it's just copying 4. So I can't give it credit for creating any of that. Because it literally didn't.
So I looked up on Zelda Dungeon where to go.
That's good. That probably helps.
I already kind of forgot.
What is it, still Dungeon 2 that we're on?
Well, I haven't even got there yet. So, like, I got there, and I need a key before I even can, like, do anything in the dungeon.
Health, bro.
Yeah, fuck you.
Man, you know what would be fun to play? Metroid 1.
Metroid.
Metroid 1 is good. It's like this, but it's actually good. So, you know.
This is good, too.
Zelda 2 is, like, well known for being the worst.
It's just because it's fucking different, just like the goddamn prequels. Got such a problem with things being different. Were you some kind of racist?
Yes! No, that's not what I mean. Shut up. I was saying yes enthusiastically as in things being different is bad. Because things
can't be different. They always have to be...
No, because that's why Metroid Other M is bad. Because Metroid Other M would be a good game on its own. But as for what Metroid games are supposed to be, it literally is nothing as to what people like Metroid for. And that's the problem.
But the difference between that game and
that's
this game is the fact that this is the second one. And they were like, do we want to make the same game again? Or do we want to make a different game?
Well,
they chose to make a different game.
Didn't they literally... Wasn't this literally a different game, but then they gave it this...
That was Mario.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I know Mario was that
The
for
US
America.
Mario 2 is Doki Doki Panic. And the original Mario 2 is like the same exact... It's just new levels with the first game sprites and stuff. This is the guy I was looking for.
Bagoo is my name. Show my note to the river or something.
Now I gotta go find the guy at the village. Oh, and then I gotta go give the note, and then I can get a bridge.
Oh wow!
It's
the Lost Woods.
No, This is Death fucking Mountain.
You're already that close?
No.
Okay.
It's just close. It's just Death Mountain's. There's no Lost Woods. Death Mountain is a bunch of different fucking caves that you have to go through.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I don't remember which one is where.
Nintendo games love their fucking convoluted mountains. There's nothing wrong with being different. The thing is, like, if you're gonna be different, you still have to live up to the expectations of the rest of the series.
You mean the
Zelda,
one game?
Zelda? Yes!
And
because,
I think it did.
Look, we're looking at it in hindsight, man. We can look at it in terms of if it's better than Zelda 1 or not. And I think most people say it's not as good as Zelda 1.
Well, yeah, because
exactly.
That is literally one of the best games of all time.
That's the point. It doesn't live up to the expectations of the first game. It doesn't matter if it's different or not. What matters is what expectations it lives up to.
If you want to say, like, Zelda 1's the best, and then Link to the Past is, like, really up there because it emulates what Zelda 1 did good.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying
Well,
Zelda
no.
1's not even the best.
I wouldn't say it's the best of the Zelda games either, but
Yeah.
popular opinion that Link to the Past is like one of the best ones, and like it really is, but like
It is. It's
some
so good.
people
Link to the
only
Past is awesome.
think that because it's like the first Zelda, just because it's top down and the gameplay is basically the same but on a better console.
Yeah, but you have to remember that the first Zelda is good because it's actually good.
This
right?
is good too.
And
It's-
I'm not saying that this isn't good, but it's just not as good as Zelda 1, and that's why people don't like it. It's not as good.
I just don't think
It doesn't live up to the
equate it.
expectations of the rest of the Zelda series. There's nothing wrong with that inherently, but it it just isn't as good. Like, first of all, if you're looking from hindsight, obviously every game that came after this is way better than this game. Except for maybe you could argue Four Swords, which I don't think most people would agree with that. I think most people would say Four Swords is good. Because they're mobile versions of the game, and this is
They're
generally
not mobile.
They are. They're
The first one was a GameCube game.
What? No, it was a game. It's a Game Boy Advance.
You had to have a Game Boy Advance to play it,
Yes.
but it was required to use the GameCube.
No way.
No, dude, the first one, you had a GameCube disc, and you'd connect your Game Boy Advances, and you'd have 4 Game Boy Advances.
Oh shit! Really?
Yep.
What the? That's so fucking dumb.
It was quite the gimmick. I am really fucking struggling.
No, I was just saying it's a Game Boy Advance game. Like so. I don't know.
There is one that is
Zelda
just Game Boy Advance. but
Yeah, that's Four Swords 2. Isn't it?
It's
Or
called
Four
something
Swords
else,
Adventure
but-
or something.
Yeah, something like that. Fuck this fucking rat, dude.
Even then, though, the gameplay is still better than this. You have to admit that.
This is
It's
like
just a more advanced, like it's straight up more advanced. Like it's a really good gameplay wise.
this game is more like the fucking Castlevania Metroid games. You know what I'm talking about? The
yeah,
ones that-
Metroidvania.
Yeah, they're like that.
It's a little bit, but this was before Metroidvania.
Yeah,
I
this
think.
is like the
It's like
preamble or whatever.
Proto Metroidvania.
Which
wouldn't
is
even-
why
I
it's
don't know if I would
interesting. It's
consider that.
like the same kind of like RPG, but it's like a different kind of RPG. So it's like you can play Zelda 1 and get that kind of experience. And then if you want to play Zelda 2, it's a completely different experience.
Yeah, but it's just not as good of an experience. It's just straight up not as good. But I would say, I don't know. I don't know if I'd consider it. Castlevania 2 is pretty good. Zelda 2,
Simon's Quest, the one that looks like gray vomit.
but the thing is, like, Zelda 2 and Castlevania 2, like, in a gameplay sense, when you actually get to the action, it's pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah, except he has a whip.
And in that, it makes it such that Castlevania 2 lives up to the expectations of Castlevania 1 better.
But it doesn't. What are you talking
It
about?
doesn't live up to it in terms of, like, other sense of the game.
Just because Castlevania was objectively a worse game than Zelda, the worst game can live up to the game.
Yes, because look, Castlevania 2 and Zelda 2 are, like, very similar in levels of quality. And Castlevania 2 lives up to Castlevania 1 better, and that is what makes it good.
But it's
'Cause
not
it's a-
good. It's
but
literally near
You
unplayable.
gotta understand, this
This is playable.
You gotta understand, this is a Zelda game. And
So why
it
should you
has
judge it
to-
differently than-
And so it has to. Yeah, we have to judge it differently because that's what the game is.
But that's not what we're judging the game on. If it's a good game, not if it's a good sequel. We're basing it on if it's a good game.
But those two things are inherently linked.
But why would we be basing it on if it's a good sequel when we're playing the game? We're not following this big story. We're like, is this a good game? That's how I'm approaching it. And that's how I approach most of my like review. I don't want to base it on.
But you have to.
Yeah, like
You have to base
Story-wise,
Avatar. You have to
maybe,
base
but, like-
Avatar 2 based on, because people are able to recognize the difference between something that is standalone and something that is a sequel. We understand it as part of a continuation of the same story.
But it has to be able to stand alone.
Exactly, it has to be able to stand alone, but that's not enough to make it 100% good. And that's what I'm saying. Standing alone is important because it would mean it's good, right? But just because it's able to stand on its own doesn't mean it can stand with Zelda 1. Doesn't mean it can stand with Avatar 1. Doesn't mean it can stand with Star Wars Episode 4. Because those are two different things. Being able to stand on its own and being able to stand with the other iterations of the series are two different things. And so, yeah, maybe it can stand on its own. But that still doesn't mean it stands with the other things. I don't know.
Castlevania 2 is better than Zelda 2.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just isn't.
Okay, well,
do you want to play Simon's
maybe,
Quest and try to fucking play it? Because it's like near goddamn impossible.
Maybe I'm wrong, but
at
the
least
main
on
problem
this
with
specific circumstance.
Yeah, the main problem with Simon's Quest though is just it's like
it sucks and it's not a good game.
It's just a dialogue issue. Like the game,
it's not a dialogue issue. Even beyond the
it
dialogue,
really is because you don't know what you're
setup
supposed.
Is not work.
Because in the Japanese version, they just straight up tell you what you're supposed to do.
Redoing that.
In the Japanese version, they just straight up tell you what you're supposed to do. So it's like not as hard because you already know.
That's not the like even the dialogue. Like even if you like use a walkthrough, the difficulty of the game is so like far beyond this. Like yeah, these dark nuts or whatever the fuck they're called because they're gold. You know, like they're difficult.
Like,
but you there's a pattern. I'm just really shitty at video games. See, like
the actual game. There's not a pattern. It's just like literally just following your position.
Like the other guys,
but his shield
just jump out and fuck with you at random points. Like you remember the blocks where you have to jump over and you have to not get hit by all these like Zora type fucking.
No, but when you get to like the actual like dungeons or like the missions or whatever they're called in Castlevania 2, it's the exact same thing as Castlevania 1. It's the same thing.
No, because you have to backtrack out of the fucking thing and not die.
And you don't have to do that in this?
No, you just leave, and then if you got everything in that dungeon, the dungeon turns to a giant rock, and you can't go back into it.
All right, fine. Okay, maybe this is better.
It is. You just haven't played Simon's Quest and realized how shitty that game is.
Okay, maybe this is better, but that still doesn't mean it's a good Zelda game.
It is. It's better than Skyward Sword. I like it better than Twilight Princess.
What?
But then again,
Twilight Princess
I haven't
so
finished Twilight
good.
Princess, so obviously there's a bias. Like I've probably gotten like maybe a third in that game, maybe. But I just don't. I don't know. Something about that game just makes me I just don't care. I'm just
everybody has games that are like that. I don't know. It's just like you played it. You just like time it wrong with other games that you're playing.
Yeah, because I tried to play it again. Like I bought it on the Wii, and then I never really played it. Like I played through the first part of it, and I got like the Forest Temple or whatever. And I think I got to the same point in the Wii U version, and I was just like, I don't know. I just don't care. Like,
yeah, I can kind of understand that. But
like
maybe I'm just biased because it is the first Zelda game I ever actually played.
The first Zelda game I played was Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
And I've never finished that game.
I
always get stuck at this fucking like literally on the Wii and the Switch version. I got stuck at the sand part at the exact same moment.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is not worth trying to figure out. I just don't care.
Skyward Sword is the same as
oh my god,
Ocarina of Time, where you can deflect the energy balls in the final boss with the bug net.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember.
They continued it. They continued the tradition of the bug net deflection, where it works way better than the sword. They forgot to make swings not registered as hits of the bug net. Like in Ocarina
I feel like
Time,
they would have, or I guess in Ocarina
of Time, I can understand like how they would mess that up, right?
I feel
because
like
you're pressing the same button as the same action.
They must have purposely did it for Skyward Sword.
So you could they did, yeah, for sure. I'm saying they purposely did it, but it was definitely a glitch in the first one, where they just like were kind of like lazy with the programming. They were kind of just like
at that point, no one knew what the fuck they were doing. Like, we were just like, what the fuck is 3D?
that's true.
Like that's where they were at that.
But
point.
I think what happened is they like registered the. You didn't get the potion?
I don't need it. I can't.
What are you talking about? You're like one hit away from death.
I can't heal myself, and that only restores my magic. I need to up my magic, which I keep forgetting to do, because I definitely can right now, but I have to like get up to 300 to do it. But I'm just trying to get to the goddamn sale button.
Yeah, I think what happened in Ocarina of Time is they just like, since you're pressing the same button and everything, they registered it as a sword swing, but just with an item that does 0 damage. But since it registers as a sword swing, it still deflects.
Yeah.
Because that's all that is necessary for deflection, is for a sword swing to be true. And so that would explain why the bug net works that way. Because I think you can even deflect it with bottles. Like pretty much
you can.
Any item that you can swing, and that kind of indicates the thing is like they're just considering it a swingable item, and any swingable item is you're able to deflect with, I guess, in that game, the way that they programmed it.
Shit.
Well, anyway.
Do you remember if I went all the way down to the left? Oh God,
Not at all. I'm kind of slightly sobering up right now.
Yeah, me too, but I'm really fucking lost.
Do you want to do another fireball?
Once I die, I literally am pretty damn close.
What were you saying?
One more health.
Oh shit.
I thought I was dead.
Well, you still have 1 and then 0 before you die, right?
Oh yeah, maybe you're right there. You might be right there. That might be a true.
Dude, those are gonna be 2 good episodes. Do you want to end and go again?
No, I just checked and we're only at like 20, so we should probably go until I
20. Yeah, we should definitely end and go.
Yeah, but we don't start right away.
So we had two like major arguments. Fuck!
God. Oh my God.
Okay, let's end. All right, guys.
I'll figure out what the fuck.
In the next episode, we are going to be doing one last little thing of Fireball for each of us. And until then, we will see you in The Matrix. All right, let's.